we need to introduce Michael Roberts, one of the people who takes care of these guys, and Michael's going to talk with us a little bit about white tigers. White tigers are not a separate species. We've talked about Indo-Chinese tigers, and we talked about Siberian tigers or Amur tigers, and we talked about Bengal tigers. White tigers are not a separate species. They are a type of one of those, right?
That's right. They're a kind of Bengal tiger.
Okay. So everybody needs to understand that they are a type of Bengal tiger.
But they're not albino, and a lot of people think they are. So what's the difference between a white tiger and an albino?
Well, the whiteness it just comes from a mutation. If she was albino, she wouldn't have the black stripes, and she wouldn't have the blue eyes that she has. Her eyes would be red because there would be no color in her irises. And the whiteness, it comes from a rare mutation. It came, one of the higher ups back in India back in 1950 something was out on a safari and found one white tiger cub with its mother. So they brought the cub into captivity, and all of the white tigers that we have in the world all came from that one tiger.
Really? I did not realize that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily advocate it, certainly not at our zoo. We've never bred her. Other zoos do breed them, but to continue the white tiger line in captivity, animals have had to be bred with some of their relatives, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's the only way to perpetuate it when you've started with only one.
Right.
It's kind of like a recessive gene, like red hair, man. You know, you don't necessarily have to have a parent with red hair to get red hair, right?
That's right.
So,
but my uncle had it.
Well,
so,
there you go.
Somewhere.
And that's kind of what the white. I mean, that's kind of how the white comes about. It can be two orange tigers, but if one of them has that, if they both have that recessive gene, then they can produce white offspring.
So Ravi is about the size of the Bengal tiger we saw earlier in the show.
Yep.
It's about the same stripes, but just
about the same age. Because Sita was Sita's almost 18. Isn't
almost. She'll be 18 in September.
And Ravi is pushing that herself.
Yep.
A lot of people ask about Ravi's eyes. They're reddish. Is that just from age, or is there a?
They're slightly crossed. It's just part of the sort of inbreeding depression that comes from all the closely related pairings that we have to do to get the recessive white coloration.
So you're just seeing a little tissue color back there. If you look at her eyes, they're actually pale blue.
I see. And she's talking to us as well.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, she's very friendly.
You gotta like that. Now we've got a newer that, obviously Ravi's been here a long time, as we talked about, but just recently we came across a new white tiger.
Right. Acquired a white tiger from the Nashville Zoo, correct?
That's right, yep.
Tell us about Callie.
Callie is, I believe she's 5 or 6 years old. She's a little bit bigger than Ravi is. I think she's closer to 300 pounds, and she was brought in. She's going to be coming up and sharing this exhibit with Ravi. They're never going to be put together.
Right.
But
now, those of you that question that, understand that Callie is like 6 years old, Ravi is like 17 years old. It would be very difficult to introduce a cat that young to a cat this old and have them get along. This one just isn't active enough and doesn't want to be active enough to get along with one that young. But people like white tigers. We wanted to have another white tiger, and we had a chance to get this one, so we brought Callie in. So they're gonna alternate days, basically.
That's right.
Probably? Yeah.
Ravi will be out one day, and we're actually building a new holding area, which will be much nicer for them. For the tiger that's off exhibit one day, they'll have a nice area to be in, and then they'll switch out every other day.
So that'll work out just fine.
So in reality, at the zoo, we have 5 tigers now.
Yes, correct.
We got the Siberian, we have the Bengal, we have the Indo-Chinese, and we have two white tigers.
Yep, and we're hoping for more Indo-Chinese soon. And so we'll add to our collection a little bit, but we're sort of broadening the type of tigers we get, trying to give a little more space to these tigers that are becoming endangered and needing some room to grow and to breed in captivity.
Do you feed these tigers?
Yes, I do.
How much food, weight-wise, do they eat?
Ravi gets 7 pounds a day, and Callie gets 10 pounds.
Wow. And you think you?
How about Kiev?
Yeah.
Kiev, I think he's 10 or 11 pounds.
That's a lot of meat there, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. They're big kitties.
That's a big old
They're all
steak.
big kitties.
Well, I would challenge you folks to come out to the zoo. When you do, obviously, spend time and look at the tigers. Look at the difference. See if you can detect them between the Bengal and the Indo-Chinese, and of course the Siberian tiger.
But let me tell you
really
one thing. They're still cats, so don't expect them to be up running around all day. If you have cats at home, you know what they do most of the day. They sleep.
Yeah.
These guys are probably going to be doing the same thing a good part of the day.
Yeah.
That's why the best time to come to the zoo is early in the morning, because that's when we feed the cats. That's when they're hungry and up and moving around.